Welcome to another episode of last week's Comics Today. I believe the garbage trucks have already been through here, but it's still too early for the lawn cutters to start. I have a massive stack of comics here. I'm going to, I think, combo some of this, so let's get straight into it. We're going to start with Scarlett. Now, before I start talking about the book, I just want to say that I had received two opinions that this was the weakest of the series so far. Before I started reading it, I was at the time still in the back of the comic shop. We weren't really filming a Shock and Awe episode last week. We did. We wound up doing it, but somebody wasn't available. So I started reading because I had time on my hands and I knew that I had a large stack of comics. And I start, and it's going fine, and I get to this fight scene, which I think is taking a page out of Game of Thrones, and they're expositing. That's what all of these text boxes are. Exposition dump over a fight scene to try to distract you, to try and convince you that, hey, it's actually interesting. And then we get to this page where these two haven't been together alone for a few years and they hug. So I think those woke idiots should shut the f*** up. I mean, they should in general, but, you know, the people wondering whether or not they're together, if they were, I would say that they would be kissing here instead of hugging. I don't ultimately care either way. But I then got to this page and I'm like, oh, this is too many words. I don't want to go through all that. Let's just film an episode instead of reading. It is, I would say, the weakest of the series so far. It's, I don't know, I guess set up for the final issue, and there's still vagueness regarding what the thing is that they've been after, and I just I kind of just want it to be over. It was super strong first issue, and it's been interesting. It's been well told this whole time. It's just I even got to this page. I'm like, didn't they make a Jinx figure recently? Did she look this amazing? Because I might have to pick her up. And the answer is no, she does not look this amazing. But yeah, it's, see how it ends next issue. But it's sort of an early, I'll get there. But a lot of words this week. So Lady Mechanika has a new miniseries out, and Sia Ohm is the artist this time. She's been popping up in my Instagram feed for the previous few weeks, and she's spectacular. Just produces absolutely gorgeous art. This is page 3, again, just slathered in words. And, like, I don't understand why you would hire a detailed artist and then just fill the entire page with words instead of their art. Now, she does get, like, you know, she does her work. This is not at all a complaint on Sia. This is absolutely a complaint on the writer. Bunch of this stuff is just individuals that speak in a wordy manner, and I don't know how much of this is like story related or just like fluff, but there's a ton of words and gorgeous art. So it's new Lady Mechanika. Helen of Wyndhorn. I've already talked about how Tom King generally gets out of Bilquis Evely's way with his words, although this, and I think I got one of the ones that was supposed to be destroyed because it's Helen of Wyndhorn, except the interior covers for Dawnrunner, which I'll get to in a few minutes, but oops, somebody screwed up. Anyway, so I've talked in previous issues about Tom King and Evely's, and how generally the letterist gets out of, she's here somewhere, like this. You get this hero shot, and like, thankfully, he knows enough to keep the words to an absolute minimum, let the art do its job. I would take an action figure of her. I'd take her grandfather too, like, anyway. So, this, and like each of these, and I'm going to get to this one in a minute. I've talked previously about this concept too, this sort of dollars per minute or minutes per dollar, and how expensive comics are and how long, generally short, it takes to read a comic. And, you know, these, you're getting more of your dollar's worth, I would say. Except, like, it's a chore to read. Duck and cover. Similar to those last few books, just covered in words. I'm a fan of Raphael Albuquerque's art, and these two have worked together well in the past on American Vampire, and there's some of that flavor in this because of the time era, and character designs. But here's what happens, alright? We start off with this kid who wants to be a movie director. He wants to finish high school, move out to California. There's some racist shit going on, and there's a bunch of other characters, and we get sort of a Breakfast Club detention setting with a smattering of different social classes and cliques and all that stuff. Except, here's where it winds up. It winds up in Red Dawn War of the Worlds. And, like, how much of any of this is relevant to the rest of the series, and how much of this is just, like, I like to write words. And the guy who doesn't do that, Chip Zdarsky, combination writer and artist. Here's the thing. So this might take less minutes to overall read, except these were a chore to get through. And Public Domain is the most entertaining. It's Public Domain is great. It's interesting. It's hilarious. These two groups, honestly. This guy's family is trying to make a comic, and then there's an old corporate guy who has hired some people that fundamentally disagree with the way he wants to operate to create a similar but very different comic, and it's amazing. I love it. Public Domain, phenomenal book. It's, as I said, it takes less minutes to overall read, except it's extremely entertaining. Whereas, like I said, these, I hit a wall of text that I'm just like, oh god. And that's not to take away, like, it is, I mean, the art's gorgeous, right? Art on these is gorgeous. The story, especially on Helen, is interesting, I will say. It's going somewhere, right? Again, gorgeous art, but come on, I don't want my hobby to feel like a job. This executes well. Zdarsky, guy's a master. Holy cow. Moving on. Jeff Lemire has a new book. This is Minor Arcana. It's familiar territory for anyone that has read his previous work. It's small town, which is fine. Except I think he gets straight to the point much faster this time. We've got this woman who's just, I mean, everything that's necessary to be conveyed is just straight to the point. We get a sense of her immediately. We get a sense of this town. She's not nice to people, and it's not great, but like it just spills off the page in a minimum of words, and he allows his own art to do the work. Like, it's brilliant. Writer artists, it's the way to go. Anyway, big fan of this. I've already signed up for issues 2 and 3. I do have, like, anytime a tarot deck comes out, there's like 4 cards that you're gonna see, and I didn't. So it's always Death, Tower, Lovers, and Fool. And I don't think the Fool shows up, but literally all of those other ones show up this time. And like, I'm just kind of tired of tarot decks. Anyway, Tower. So, it's a good start. It's a good start after all of this. This is not the order that I read them in, but it's a great start. I've already signed up for the next couple of issues. A lot of number ones this week, including Conan and Battle of the Blackstone. This has been building towards this for months. This is the Zafino cover. Zafino's, God Damn, I would love to get a Zafino original. I mean, he's probably on my price bracket, but good God, man, this guy can draw the shit off a page. Anyway, so this is the big Robert E. Howard crossover thing, Conan and a bunch of other characters, and they make appearances, and it's well done. And I will do a minor complaint in that we don't get Brisa yet. Yet? I believe she's supposed to be in this. The picked from the Zub first arc that Conan teams up with, and she's awesome, and I want to see more of her, and she's kind of been promised for months because of this, and she's not in this one yet. Fingers crossed, but this is a great start. This is only a 4-issue series, and hopefully after this, all of this weird Mark stuff will be done, and we'll get Conan focused on something else, this weird Mark thing. Anyway, the art in this is great. The art does exactly what it needs to do. The words are well done as well. I would like a Conan with pants at some point. Most Conans, you know, he's got the fur boots, he's got no pants, he's got the loincloth thing. I guess my Conan has pants. Anyway, I'm talking about action figures. If there was zero transition there, but yeah, action figures. Conan, pants. Another new #1. This is the Autumn Kingdom by Colin Bunn and Chris Minton. I'm a fan of about half of Bunn's stuff, and I'm a long-term fan of Chris Minton. So yeah, absolutely, I grabbed this. Oh, designer. Yeah, I know that guy too. I had heard, because the comic shop guy had gotten an early preview of this, that it was good, and I was excited for it. I was already excited for it, and then I hear it's good, and I'm even more excited. And it is. It's great. There's a thing with writers writing about writers and going to small secluded areas, and I'm like, I've somewhat been over this territory before, but whatever. It's a writer who takes his family to this cabin in the woods, and weird stuff starts happening. Sound effects. And, you know, there's the story that he's writing, which seems to be high fantasy. And then there's weird, fantastic elements within the real world. And I'm totally on board with this. I think it's only a 4-issue series. I've signed up for it. It's a fantastic start. It's some of, I think, Chris Minton's best work, and this is one of the series of Colin Bunn's that I'm a fan of, and I highly recommend it. It's probably one of my picks of the week, because it's certainly not some of that. Get Fury issue 5. This is fantastic. So, Castle meets up with Fury, finally. They did this in the preview pages. So, Castle is being walked into this prison because he's got a gun on this guy, and see the previous issues to find out why that is. Right, and then we get to Fury here, who just is destroyed. Ugh, I didn't notice that finger until now. Anyway, to catch up, read the text box. And Fury in the rest of this, he's mostly quiet, and then he's like muttering angrily to himself, and it is brilliant. So this confrontation starts here, and then fist down the throat. Like, he snaps. And it's amazing. I loved it. So, yeah, I've thoroughly been enjoying the series, and this issue is no exception. Phenomenal stuff. Dawnrunner issue 5. This is the end of the miniseries. I did skip, so I opened it, and I read the first page, and I'm like, wait a minute. There have been enough instances recently where I get to what I think is the last page of the final issue, and then there's a to be continued, so I skipped to the very end, and there's no to be continueds, and that makes sense to me because of Ram V, and thankfully this is a complete miniseries at 5 issues, and it's well done. Thank you. So I believe this is the creative team that will be working on the New Gods for DC coming up. Hopefully there are no mech versus kaiju requirements for the artist, because I think that is his weak point. Otherwise, the series is well done. It is recommended, and I enjoyed it. It's just, you know, these giant monster fights. Can you tell what you're looking at there? The giant monster mech fights are the weakest point of this series. Otherwise, the artist is spectacular, and I'm a fan generally of Ram V. I just didn't like his Detective Comics. Didn't catch me. He's covered in gore. Yeah, anyway, it ends well. I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to trying out New Gods. Fingers crossed it's good. Fingers crossed. Uncanny Valley, issue 5. This, I read something just before I started filming, which said this is now an ongoing series, which I had not heard anywhere else. So this is either the penultimate issue and things will end in next issue, or they won't, apparently. But I think the last Boom series that I knew of went from 6 to ongoing to actually, no, it's 12, and like, whatever. We'll see what happens. But this is, I've been enjoying this, and this is well done, and there's a confrontation with this, Dan pointed out last time that it's combo Maleficent, Scar, and Jafar. So this guy here, I see it. I don't know if there's anyone else that I'm missing, but, yeah. So it's people attacking each other with paint thinner, with whitewash. It's kind of crazy, but it's well done. I enjoy it. I'm enjoying this clash of real and cartoon, and the family stuff is well done. And I'm interested to see where it goes, because somebody paints a white hole and then jumps into it, and I'm like, well, where does that go? I don't know what that's supposed to indicate, but it's really well done. I'm enjoying this. If it ends next issue, I hope it ends well, and if it doesn't end the next issue, then I hope there's a justifiable reason for it continuing. And I'll just leave it at that. Plastic Man No More, issue 1. I was interested in this, but I didn't put it on my pull list because I wasn't sure, and I'm glad that I grabbed it off the rack because it is well done. I read this early on this week, and it was an early contender for Pick of the Week. I do like this guy getting out of the car there. But it's great. It's really, the art's phenomenal. We get to this basically Joker origin story, which is weird. And he takes damage, right? So there's a art clash a little bit, and it's spelled out here in the credits. But the main artist has a Riley Rossmo-esque look, which I'm a fan of. And then we get to the Justice League stuff where Plastic Man is largely ignored, and it's funny, and he's actually like devastatingly injured, and they're just laughing it off. It's great, and it's horrifying and sad, and yeah, the book is phenomenal. And he winds up wrapping his arm up in this bag so that he doesn't liquefy all over the. It's great. A tiny bit body horror, but it's a family. It's a kind of redemption. It's funny, and it's a lot of things, including very entertaining. And I recommend it. DSTLRY books, it always takes a certain amount of time to read one of these things because physical dimensions are larger, page count is higher. This, however, has not felt like a chore to read, like some of the other stuff I was complaining about earlier. I will always sign up when these two names are on a book, and this is possibly some of their best work. Like, this is just gorgeous, and it's Azzarello doing what he does, which is incredible writing and is staying out of the way of the artist, and just, it works. They work so well together. It's phenomenal. I love this. This is another contender for Pick of the Week. This, I think it's going to multiple books this week, but I will say this. So I'll say this about the general distillery business model is it sucks. Just get your shit together and then release monthly instead of every other month. It's such a pain. Because I don't even know, I think this came out, like issue 1 came out like May or something. It's been a while, and trying to get back into it is not the greatest. And yet still, contender for Book of the Week because it is so strong. But just wait, I would say, for the collection. Because much like Somna, which annoyed me with its formatting, there will be a collection. And then you can just read the whole thing in one sitting. But if you don't want to wait that long, you can get the single issues and suffer while waiting like I am. But it's phenomenal. I'm just complaining about distillery, not the work. Anyway, it's great. Lastly, I picked up one of the previous Witcher books. This is A Grain of Truth, which is basically his adaptation of the Beauty and the Beast story. It was down to this I'd been watching, I think, since last Christmas. This and A Lesser Evil on Amazon. And A Lesser Evil, these two are two of my favorite shorts. And I chose not to get A Lesser Evil because I wasn't a huge fan of the artist. This is well done. I like this art. So, I grabbed this off of Amazon while I was shopping for something else because the price dropped. I think it was part of their Labor Day sale, maybe, but whatever. I grabbed this for like $9. I'm like, at that price, absolutely, I'll get that. So that is everything that I got this week. I generally, except in some cases, get all my stuff from a local comic shop. But let me go through this real quick. So, Autumn Kingdom, loved it. Conan, Minor Arcana, Public Domain, also just amazing. And then we get some of these things. I'm giving Pick of the Week to, I'm giving it a 3-way, right? So Autumn Kingdom, Plastic Man, and Blood Brothers Mother. All of these are phenomenal. Just great art, great writing, and did not feel like a fucking chore. So, that is everything that I got this week. As I said, I get my comics from a local comic shop. If you don't know where yours is, you can use this URL to find the one closest to you. There is a absolute metric ton of stuff out there. Find something you enjoy. Don't read something you're not enjoying. Thanks for watching.